welcome back, welcome back. It's your boy Hez, and this is our NBA Roundtable. We're back, we're rocking, we're rolling, we're talking the NBA playoffs. We're excited. Happy to be joined by Justen Williams.
How's it going, guys? What's up?
And Shelly, Shelly D.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, what's up? So just for context, we're recording here on Tuesday, August the 18th. It's actually day number 2 of the NBA playoffs. So I believe there's a game live right now as we're recording, Justen. Would that be my Los Angeles Lakers against the 8th-seeded Blazers?
Yes, sir, you are correct. I'm watching the lineups get announced right now.
Okay, so I haven't missed the tip-off as yet. Lakers in 4. All right, guys. So before we kind of get into our topic, just for a bit of context, going back to yesterday, which was Monday, the 17th, day number 1 of the NBA playoffs, which kicked off, absolutely amazing. The first game there with the Jazz and the Nuggets that went to overtime. Donovan Mitchell with a career high, a franchise best scoring for the playoffs, 57 points, albeit in a losing effort. Jamal Murray, the Canadian kid, he was just an absolute beast in the fourth quarter and overtime, and they were able to close that out. Of course, our hometown Raptors, they had their wire-to-wire victory. They beat the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, by 24 points. Great game, great effort. They shot the ball well. They defended well. The Nets made a little bit of a run, which is what happens. Of course, basketball is like diarrhea. It's a game of runs. But in the end, the Raptors were able to close it off. And once again, they won by 24 points. And the night game, actually, the Clippers versus Mavs, that was a very exciting game as well. That was very interesting and kind of went down to the wire there. The Clippers, of course, took a 1-0 series lead. Today, guys, we're talking about upsets. So we're looking at this, the scope of the NBA playoffs, the first round playoff series. And let's just kind of throw it out there and discuss where do we see potential, upsets in any of the games and any of the series. I will say this, earlier today, once again, recording on the 18th, there was a major upset where the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks, got, I wouldn't even say beat, guys, let's admit it, they got annihilated, they got destroyed, they got absolutely obliterated and embarrassed by the Orlando Magic, by the shorthanded Orlando Magic. So props to Orlando for jumping the gun and taking a 1-0 series lead there. I don't think anyone is predicting that the Bucks will, lose that series. That series will end up in an upset, but that was definitely an upset for that particular game. But let's begin with you, Justen. I'll throw it to you first. And I know that we all made our playoff predictions. We did our little post there on the gram. We went through each series and we shared our individual predictions. Where do you see the biggest upset, if you were to say, Justen, in the first round of the NBA playoffs, man?
The biggest upset, I think it would have to be, I don't think they can do it, but if they could, my biggest upset would probably be Blazers. If they can pull it together, that'd be a major. That's the point, right?
No, so let's backtrack a little bit here. So what we're discussing here, Mr. Williams, is out of all the series, which series is most likely to have an upset? So not which one would be the biggest upset, which series is most likely. So in terms of all the teams that are favored to win, which series would you say is most likely to have an upset that would not surprise you? That's what we're
I guess OKC and Houston then, in that case. That'd be the most likely. Because even although, yes, as we're recording this on the 18th and Houston had a very comfortable win, it's still for a while there was kind of shaky. I can see it going back and forth, but that's my only real underdog, I guess, for that one.
Okay,
Everything seems pretty clear cut.
You take the Thunder to possibly upset the Houston Rockets, and who are obviously shorthanded right now. Russell Westbrook is out. We don't know when he'll be returning. All right. Shelly, what do you say?
I think the most possible, upset would be the Mavs over the Clippers. I just think that the Mavericks figured it out a little bit. Again, this would be a long shot if they did, but I think I have them in 6. I have the Clippers in 6, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks took that series. Luka Doncic and Porzingis and Tim Hardaway. I mean, didn't Porzingis just get thrown out yesterday? I think.
Yeah, that was insane. I believe that Dallas was up by 5 and they were in control of the game at that point. They were on a run. And obviously when he exited, he's their number 2 scoring option. He's their best, defender. He's their rim protector. And when he went out, obviously that's when the Clippers were able to, gain control of the game. Yeah. But wow, that is pretty bold. So you could possibly
so I would say the Mavs. I would definitely say the Mavs, but I would agree with Justen and say I wouldn't put it past the Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is fire. This guy.
If he's dropping 60s, it's good. Like
40s, 50s, game after his last 5 games, this guy was averaging 40 points a game or something. I don't even know. It's
going to take more than one player to beat the number 1 seeded Los Angeles Lakers.
Is like the Robin to Batman right now. They are going to listen. I know you're a Lakers fan, but don't be surprised if they come out and they take this series because I think Damian Lillard is on a different level.
I'm gonna address that in a second, just because you guys both brought that up. So I'm gonna address that. But sticking to the original question, I'm actually with you, Justen, and I actually did pick OKC to win the series in 7. So that is actually my, if you want to call it, sleeper team in the first round. Despite losing game 1, I think they're going to bounce back strong in game 2. I'm just a believer in Chris Paul. I know he's had his, moments, his not so shiny moments in the playoffs. He just seems to be a different animal, different beast, particularly this year working with those young guys at OKC. I like the way that they actually defend as opposed to, the Houston Rockets. They got the Canadian kid as well, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Gallinari. He can spot up and hit threes from anywhere. Dennis Schroeder, he's back, he's healthy. So I actually like the Thunder to win in 7, and I'm hoping that Russell Westbrook actually does come back. I think they said for sure he's going to miss the first 3 games. Hopefully he can come back, for game 4, to make things, a lot more interesting. But I'm just not necessarily a fan of the, the style of play of, the Houston Rockets. They're small ball and, jacking up 40 to 60, perimeter shots a game. It's just not my thing, especially for, playoff basketball. I think eventually it'll, it'll be easy to stop or slow down. Although James Harden, I mean, we know what he's capable of as a one-on-one player. But yeah, that would be my pick. I would pick the Thunder. I think that's the most logical one if I had to choose between all of the series. Back to the Los Angeles Lakers, guys, and the Portland Trailblazers. So Shelly, are you saying that if Portland was to beat the Lakers, that would not surprise you because Damian Lillard is, let's go, let's do it. I'm showing my watch. By the way, I just got a new watch. Show up to the camera. Dame time. Because, he's, playing lights out right now and he can lead the Portland Trailblazers possibly over the Lakers, and it wouldn't be the biggest shock.
No, it wouldn't be. I mean, what did they have, a 3-game series this regular season, I think they played 3 times this season.
I don't even pay attention to that. So guys, let me break it. I didn't even want to get into this.
No, but in favor of the Lakers, the Portland Blazers lost 2 of the 3 games to them. However, Damian Lillard seemed to have turned on a switch. They've won the last 4 of their 5 games. He's dropping 40 points a game. He's got CJ McCollum in the back working his magic. I mean, he's a different beast right now. And if he carries on with what he's been doing into the playoffs, I think the Lakers really need to stay ready because this could potentially be, an upset.
Hey, listen, you always got to stay ready. You can never disrespect your opponent, take for granted.
LeBron James said it himself. He said it himself. He's an underrated player. Damian Lillard is an underrated player, and that he should not be underestimated.
Well, of course. And obviously LeBron is going to say that. He's not going to say anything contrary to that. The media would be all over. But check this out, Shelly and Justen. Let me just not even going to school you. Allow me to class you for a moment here and explain to you why there's not even a remote chance of the Portland Trailblazers beating the Lakers. So here's the thing. And this isn't just across sports. This is general across the board. As human beings, we're prisoners of the moment, stuck in the present. The only reason why everybody is so hot on Portland, because obviously they finished off those seeding games on a very, very high note. Reason being is because all of those games, I believe they won 4 of their last 5 games in the bubble. Those were essentially elimination games for them. They actually had to play hard. They had to win those games. Whereas the Lakers, I believe after the second game in the bubble, we clinched the #1 seed. We had nothing to play for. So anybody who wants to say that, oh, Portland is, on an upward trend and the Lakers are playing bad because, we weren't shooting the ball and this and that. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't even judge that situation in terms of a team that has something to play for, a team that doesn't have something to play for. Now, let's get into some stats here. Do you know, and I would imagine you don't, the Portland Trailblazers, out of 8 defensive statistical categories, they rank dead last in 7 of 8 statistical defensive categories in the bubble. They can't stop anybody. So you're telling me that a #8 seed is going to that can't play any defense, that can't stop anybody whatsoever, is going to upset 2 top 5 players in the league in Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and a team that's actually a top 5 defensive team in the league? I don't think so. Furthermore, and this is specifically for both of you and all of y'all listening out there, because I know a lot of you are Raptor fans, I find it very interesting that Raptor fans in particular would have the audacity to believe that playoff LeBron, that's right, playoff LeBron, could actually get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Raptor fans, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should know damn well that as great as LeBron James is in the regular season, when it comes to the playoffs, he's a completely different beast and animal. And once again, Raptor fans should know that better than anybody else in the NBA. So to believe that LeBron would actually get bounced in the first round of the playoffs by a #8 seed that plays no defense whatsoever is just beyond asinine. I rest my case. Thank you.
He didn't make the playoffs last season, right?
And why didn't they make the playoffs last year?
Because they didn't have AD. So now they have AD, and they're like, oh, we're
that's
good.
That's an irrelevant argument. Last year, LeBron was actually injured last year. They were a completely different team. They had a bunch of young guys that haven't done that. That's actually an irrelevant argument. I'm talking about in the playoffs. LeBron is in the playoffs right now. The Lakers have a #5 defense. They're a #5. They're top 5 in defensive ranking. Actually, and they're top 5 in offensive ranking.
But they're also last place with their lineup.
Than it has been in the last couple of games, in the last series that they had. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum have together combined have a higher field goal percentage. Let me see here. I know that Damian Lillard in the last 5 games has a higher field goal percentage than LeBron James has. There's perimeter shooters. He can pretty much shoot from anywhere on the court. LeBron James is limited in
let me explain something to you, Shelly. I don't think it's connected. I don't think you heard what I said. What I said was, and this is what matters. You apples to oranges. Because the Lakers had nothing to play for after they clinched in the second game, they didn't even play their full roster. They didn't go all out. They didn't have the pedal to the metal. The Portland Trailblazers, every single game essentially in the bubble, just like the Phoenix Suns, just like even the San Antonio Spurs, the Sacramento Queens, they actually had to hustle and play their full lineups and go all out because they had something to play for. So anybody who's worried about the Lakers,
I don't know, unless LeBron told you that himself.
That's completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. I will give you this. This is what I will say. Especially that the Lakers without Rajon Rondo, I believe he did return to the bubble recently, but there's no time to.
But they don't even. I don't think they even have.
Hold on, because I'm gonna give you a concede. I do believe that a series like this, where the Lakers are hindered from a perimeter defensive standpoint, 100%, I think Damian Lillard is going to go off and average maybe 30, 40 points. CJ McCollum, apparently he has a bit of a fractured back, but he played well the last series or
crafty,
the last few games.
Oh, God, yes.
Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, quite creative with this
Hold on. What I'm saying is hopefully he's okay because we don't want to hear any excuses. But I do believe that CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard will have an amazing series. But it's not enough. They don't have enough to beat the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's no way that LeBron is getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. The idea, the concept of that is just absolutely ludicrous. And it's something that it's beyond comprehension. It's not going to happen.
That's a typical Laker fan.
I will take Damian Lillard, McCullough, and Carmelo Anthony over the starting lineup of the Lakers right now.
Absolutely.
Playoff Danny Green is garbage. Playoff Danny Green is shit. Talking mushrooms.
That's not how basketball works. Basketball is a team sport. The fact of the matter is Portland is actually not a great team. What makes them exciting is the fact that they have two very special players on the offensive end. If you rank, if out of 8 defensive categories, you're dead last in 7 of 8. I'm sorry, there's not much hope.
They are an 8 seed. No one's saying that they're better than all the other 7 seeds in the league. But what we're saying is that it wouldn't be far-fetched if Portland somehow pulled out of this series as the winning team of round 1.
Nobody's blown.
They're 8th. We know that. Lakers are first. We get that. But if we're talking upsets, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum are the guys to do it. They can take on AD and LeBron James. I don't see why they do it. There's nothing about
Damian
them.
Lillard and CJ McCollum are too small. The Lakers have too much size.
Offensively, I think they're better.
They're too gritty defensively. It's not happening. There's a 0%. Guys, I'm going to look dead straight in the camera. There is a 0% chance of the Portland Trailblazers upsetting my Los Angeles Lakers. It is not happening at all. But guys, this was fun.
I love it.
I cannot wait for tonight's game.
I'm watching it right now.
Comment, everyone. Comment after that game.
Enjoy the series. Enjoy the NBA playoffs as a whole. We didn't get a chance to really talk much about the Toronto Raptors. I mean, there's not much to talk about other than they played great. Freddie. Was he like? I think he was 8 of 10 from behind the arc. Absolutely amazing. He was shooting lights out. I made a prediction of the Raptors winning that series in 5. I might have to change my prediction and say it's a sweep, but I'll wait after game 2 to see what they do. I think they play tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1:30 tomorrow.
I feel like they're going to drop game 3 for some reason. I don't know. I feel like they're just going to start their bench and kind of rest.
Raps in 3.
Raps in 3. We'll see what happens.
They'll do so well. The points will just carry over to the next game.
We'll just forfeit the 4th one.
There's a mercy rule for the whole series.
Wow. Exactly. So, guys, this was a lot of fun. Thanks so much for being here, Shelly and Justen. Lakers all the way. Raptors, but, you're doing your thing. Very good. Guys, enjoy the NBA playoffs. We've been waiting. I think we went, 4 or 5 months without basketball. I do want to say this, the NBA, props to the NBA, Adam Silver and crew have done an unbelievable job with the bubble and, the virtual fans and just everything. The quality of play has been absolutely just, great. And hopefully, I'm a huge NFL guy. I know, Justen, you love football as well. So hopefully the NFL is taking notes in terms of how to navigate in this whole, COVID-19 situation with professional sports. Because those of us that love football, we definitely want to have football in the fall without any interruptions. But once again, guys, enjoy the rest of the NBA playoffs. We'll see what pans out as far as our predictions and potential upsets. Thanks for tuning in. Toronto Talk Sports and more.
Thank you for watching. Please click the like button and leave us a comment with your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications to see more engaging and interactive content. Toronto Talk Sports and more. For the love of the Six, let's connect.